Hey guys, it's Tsuki here, and today we are going to be giving Sae Itoshi his perfect starting 11. This video idea was given to me by the duck on the community Discord that I co-host. So if you would like to leave ideas for future videos, join the community Discord today. Link will be in the description or pinned to the comment section. That takes like a minute. What takes less time is subscribing. It only takes 5 seconds, so do that right now. The road to 1k subscribers must be completed before 2025, so let's get to it. Anyways, back to the video. So we are going to be doing the 4-2-4 formation, which gives us 4 defenders at the back, with Sae Itoshi controlling the offense with his elite playmaking skills, and a defensive midfielder who will make Sae's life easier. We will have 4 attackers because Sae Itoshi's dream is to have all the striker toys he can play with, so 2 wingers and 2 strikers next to each other. The formation is a hybrid of PXG and Bastard Munchen in a nutshell. Now one last thing before we get started, this will not contain the world class players, but if we can get 20 likes, I will do a part 2 allowing all the OP world class players like Lavenho and noel. Now the most obvious pick has to be our goalkeeper, Gagamaru. His spring-like body allows for him to react to shots really fast, and especially at hard angles like when he saved Shido's shot with a handstand. He is the best goalkeeper right now in BlueLock, and I desperately need that scorpion save in the U20 World Cup arc. Please bro. Next is the defensive 4, which will start with the wingbacks. First one is Yukimiya. We will have him use his dynamic Laboba Emperor dribbling style to cut through the left side of the pitch. His other assets to this team would be his immense speed, which like Chigiri would allow him to blitz through opponents like he did with Nero. And he has some adaptability feats, as when he didn't pass through Nero the first time, he had to use Bao's chaos to try and use Mac cuts to break through, passing through Nero and getting the gyro shot. For defense, he has immersive speed that helped him intercept Nagi's juggling shots and allowed for him to stall time against Chigiri for Kaiser to stop him. His 2 signature shots, being the gyro shot and the sword screw shot, will add layers of offensive weapons for this dream team. The next wing back is Eita Otoya. Now you all must be wondering, why not Corona? And I actually have a good reason. Corona's defensive stats are actually going down, as it was at 75 and now it's a 68. Some other stats went down, like his shooting and dribbling, and although his speed is a 95, he is barely able to keep up with Isagi when he uses Metavision at 100%, as he was subbed off in the Ubers game and subbed off again in the PXG game. Lastly, his best feats consist of playmaking with Isagi, but that's Sae Itoshi's job, which makes his best feat useless in the face of Sae Itoshi. Now for why Otoya is here, he is stealthy like a ninja, with great off the ball movements and can link up with any player necessary, as he did so with Karasu, Chigiri, and Bachira, and has a good chunk of the reason why Bachira was able to cook as well as he did for FC Barcha in the first place. This was confirmed by Lavenho himself. Defensively, he only has 1 game of feats to show for it, being the Team A versus Team B match, when he was a pest to win as he pressured Rin and Shido on multiple occasions. With Sae Itoshi, he is going to be a completely different animal, as he always brings the best out of his strikers. This team has so many strikers that he can come from the shadows when everyone least expects it, and can either be bait for another striker or go for a goal himself with Sae Itoshi's perfect pass. Next, the right center back is going to be Olivier Aikyo. He is the best defender in Japan and already has good chemistry with Sae Itoshi. He was a very tough iron wall to crack. He was the captain for the U20 Japan team, so his leadership would help a lot. His defensive rating was a 93 in Ubers, and he has been able to keep up with Kaiser in multiple occasions throughout the Ubers versus Bastard Munchen match. He also made Isagi have to back out of taking a shot after catching on how much power he had in his left leg, forcing him to indirectly assist Kaiser. And thanks to Isagi, he learns how to activate Metavision at will. He used to be a striker, so he can be selfish at times, so that means he could come up and try and score a goal himself when he feels like it. He brings much needed light-hearted leadership amongst these egorists. That would be a nice feat he has, as the captain leadership will really bring this team together. Don Lorenzo, the new Gen 11 defender, is obviously the best U20 defender with a 97 defensive rating. His man marking prowess makes him able to lock down any player he chooses. This came into full effect against the new Gen 11 striker being Michael Kaiser, where he completely shut out Kaiser for about 90% of the game, and only couldn't due to trying to stop Hiyori and Isagi. He would definitely be a problem for the opposing offense. His zombie dribbling will allow him to easily dribble past his opponents and get a good pass out to Sae, so that Sae will be able to carry the momentum on the other side of the pitch. Now let me pass the mic over to a special guest to review the next pick.
So Tsuki has decided to build a team around Sae. Not very surprising. And not to toot my own horn, but I do have a little bit of experience with building a team with Sae as its nucleus, seeing as that is exactly what I did for my video where I built the perfect team using only blue lockers, which funny enough, Tsuki was also on. But seeing as this team is built around Sae, we need a character who can guarantee Sae the freedom he needs to perform his best. With his role to deliver precise passes to the offensive line, Sae needs someone who can not only keep up with him, but can also act as a sort of bodyguard for him in the instance that someone attempts to stop him. The perfect character for this, in my opinion, is Rensuke Kunigami as a defensive midfielder. I've recently loved putting Kunigami in these defensive type of positions, and despite his lack of playtime in those positions, he still does a lot better than some other defensive midfielder. Karasu. With Kunigami in this position, he'll have one of three roles. Role A will be to act as a screener and blocker for incoming opponents. With his improved speed and strength, he can effectively keep up with someone directly in front of him, acting as a screen that allows Sae to easily move past them. Role B will be to act as a man marker who can eliminate one of the possible offensive capabilities of the opposing team. This will not only allow him to shut down one of the opposing attackers, but also win loose balls, leading to Sae regaining possession. And his last role will be to act as bait or another possible attacker. With Kunigami acting as a bodyguard for Sae, this will force him to play in a very similar way to how Corona plays for Isagi, rotating around him at a respectable distance. This will lead to him always being in range for a quick pass into his power shooting, and thanks to his ambidexterity, can come from either of his feet. Another benefit from this is because he's being used as bait, the defenders must always be careful that an offensive play from Kunigami could still be possible. Having Kunigami play in this respective role not only makes the job of Sae easier, but also allows the other players on the pitch to succeed in their respective roles.
Now we are doing the attackers, so let's start with the left wing. Yoma Chiguri. I have him over here over candidates like Rin or Isagi because his speed is only topped by Loki itself. I'll get to this fact later. This would allow Sae to pass it to the most riskiest of places that only Chiguri's insane speed can reach with pinpoint precision. Just like how he assisted Shido to get the ball to Chiguri for him to let him do his thing on the left wing, so he can do his golden formula 44 Panther snipe shot to score his own goal. He could also run back to help the defense, but given the stacked defense this team already has, he won't have to waste energy running back on defense, which allows him to rest up and really give it his all on offense. The right winger is Nagi Seishiro. I know he has been in a slump in the NEL, but some people forget how good this guy is, especially with a good passer. As Chris Prince states in chapter 179, Nagi's playstyle is completely based on the passer he has working with him. He is going to be getting passes from the best passer in the U20 division, and this would definitely make him excited and improve his creativity to score more insane goals. And thanks to the training with Chris Prince, he will be able to overpower defenders and use his traps, feints, and fake shots to fake out defenders as well. As Isagi showed with his 2-gun volley, the juggling shot of Nagi could really be dangerous. One last thing. Now I understand the worry of placing Nagi in this position due to his recent decline in the NEL. However, what we need to consider is actually the situation itself. Despite how it appears Nagi's slump, while not actually being in a slump, was caused by the heat created by Isagi to disappear. Defeating him is what led to Nagi being in the current state he is now. However, with a supporting player inside, someone who not only on several accounts understands the heat of his teammates, but also how to bring out his best, this would allow him to influence Nagi's heat in a more positive light, even when compared to RAITO and Isagi. This heat would not force him into an advanced evolution, as seen with the revolver fake volley. However, it will allow him to reach a point far beyond his current abilities while still keeping his evolution progressive. Now for the strikers. The right center forward would be Michel Kaiser. The thought of a new Gen 11 striker and a new Gen 11 midfielder working together is just mind-blowing. Luckily, Kaiser is the type that just relies on the midfielder to do the work and work their magic out, as he just uses his metavision to get to the most optimal position of the field to score a goal with his Kaiser impact. And he has multiple variations of this, being the insane long distance one he used against Munchen, short distance types like the one he used against Barcha, even off-balance bicycle kicks Kaiser impact, and his most dangerous being the Kaiser impact Magnus, which Sae Itoshi can put a perfect spin on that pass, just like how Rin and Kiora does, to get him in the position to score a Kaiser impact Magnus. With Sae being there instead of Ness, this gives Kaiser multiple more opportunities to score insanely impossible goals. Since they both have metavision, they could have perfect link-up plays similar to Hiyori x Isagi, leading to the perfect no-interval pass from Sae Itoshi and the Kaiser impact goal from Michel Kaiser. The deadliest reflex X reflex combination would be born, making defenders piss themselves.
And with that, we finally completed the best possible team for Itoshi Sae.
Oh, the hell it isn't. Announce the last pick for the perfect starting 11 for Sae's team.
Just kidding, because how could we possibly finish this team without Sae's demonic partner in crime, Shido Ryusei? We've already seen their explosive chemistry in action during the U20 match. As Sae and Shido just didn't play well together, they clicked perfectly. These two are highly compatible players due to mostly their instinctual playstyles, as both seem to function best when mindlessly aiming for their best. Shido's chaotic, aggressive style perfectly complements Sai's precision, but what makes him a truly invaluable asset to the Dream Team is how he would click alongside other elite players, particularly Michael Kaiser. Kaiser's obsession with achieving the impossible, his 1 in a million Kaiser impact, even his bright blue rat tail would most definitely light a fire under Shido. Also, speaking of the Kaiser impact, Michael's general approach and range of play also allows Shido to focus on what he does best, crashing out in the box and hunting for those close range, high intensity goals. With Kaiser often pulling defenders off and taking those mid-range shots, Shido would often have more freedom to focus on his preferred playstyle. Instead of having to drop back to make plays from afar, he could fully embrace his role as a pure striker, diving into the box for those deadly finishes. I truly think Kaiser's presence would make Shido even more dangerous, letting him unleash his full potential alongside 2 new generation talents.
Now with the whole starting 11 reviewed, let's reintroduce them. We got Goalkeeper as goalkeeper, Yukimiya and Otoya as wingbacks who can defend pretty well with their speedy and stealthy footworks and join the offense and score goals when the situation calls for it. Kunigami would man-mark the aerialistic threats they deal with, as well as act as Sai's bodyguard to limit the threats that Sai would have to deal with, similar to like how Corona was the planet hotline rotating with Isagi along the pitch. For the wingers, they will both reach the most extreme passes from Sai, as this will test Chigui's top speed and Nagi's trapping abilities without making them overheat. As for Shido and Kaiser, you have the best aerialistic striker in BlueLock being Shido, who is already paired with Sai, has an insane growth rate in how his shots can be handled and how Sai led him into flow, as well as Kaiser, who has meta vision, predator eyes, and Kaiser impact to make the perfect combination with Sai. Now I can go over how Sai will manipulate his toys to victory. For starters, if it's a late game and it ever comes down to a corner kick, Sai could call Gagamal to join the offense and pass it to Gagamal on the place that will test his limits of his spring-like body into a super goal. This 4-4 situation will occasionally let Kunigami come up to help with the attacks, or if he doesn't, Yukimiya and Otoya can join the attack to make it 6 attackers, with Kunigami moving down to help Lorenzo and Aiku if needed. Sai will most likely let Yukimiya be solo as he is a pacifist. As for the rest of the attackers, he will be sending passes to the striker with the most heat on him. Now for set pieces, I'm going to have Sai taking corners and free kicks, and the main people he will be passing it to is Shido with his insane box spatial awareness, and Chigui because of his full speed to make a speed x speed reflex goal, or likely to Kunigami, who can score a crucial header or a massive aerialistic shot, with his ambidextrability being a massive crucial play, as his physique would allow for no one to be really able to touch him in the air. For penalties, Michel Kaiser would be taking this, as he's the most obvious pick, with his Kaiser impact being the fastest shot in the manga currently, as even Noel himself stated that's the one thing Kaiser hasn't beat in. Now to explain why some favorites like Isagi or Rin wasn't in this lineup. The idealistic perfect dream of Sae Itoshi would be to have a strong center back duo that will make him not have to go on defense, have wingbacks that are capable of goal scoring abilities, as he would like to send passes to them as well when they come on the attack, with the 6 attacker strategy that the BlueLock 11 used. Ariel perfectly described Kunigami's role, as Will wouldn't be able to do what Kunigami does because he doesn't have the physique or endurance. Whale was the closest candidate, but the problem was he was making his body to do what Sai and Rin can do, and Sai is going to already have the playmaking and all these factors under control, so there's just no need for Whale, and he needs to be able to use his toys the best way he wants to his ultimate desires, which is why Rin, Isagi, and Bao all didn't make the cut, as these 3 strikers would want to create their best ideal goals, which would limit Sae Itoshi's role and effectiveness, which would not be ideal in this situation. With everything cleared up, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Big thanks to Aero and Animasu for joining me today. Make sure to click the subscribe button and put on notifications for when I post my next Sae Itoshi video, as this is Saitober. Lastly, the question of the video is, what perfect team would you have orchestrated for Sae Itoshi himself? Let me know in the comment section down below. Tsuki out.